This is breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
And most importantly, let everybody know in the general public that all of our mail ballots that have been received, minus the cure and the provisionals, will be reported today. We've still got work in the counting board. As soon as they're done, they'll be sending that over to tabulation, and everything will be tabulated and reported on this evening, minus the outstanding cure and the provisionals that'll go in next week. So, yesterday we tabulated and reported out 27,346. Today's mail was small, 268. We will continue to communicate with the post office throughout this afternoon. If we receive it by 5 o'clock and it's postmarked in time to be counted, we'll be making a run to go get those and bring them in. We don't want anybody to be disenfranchised, but we rely completely on the post office to give us that information. Today there are over 22,000 ballots that still need to go in. You need to keep in mind, I've been talking about the cures for several days now. Those numbers continue to go up because we process them every day. As soon as a voter calls in and they do the required or provide the required information, then we have staff that pulls that ballot and sends it in a batch up to be counted. So that's why some of the numbers still go up a little bit over what I've been reporting. Cure, we're up to 14,651 total, but as of this morning, there are only 7,139 that are eligible still to be cured. I encourage the general public. We have the hotlines running. We're working today, tomorrow, and obviously on Monday till 5 o'clock, the statutory deadline. That number is 702-455-6552. If you need to cure your ballot, I strongly encourage you. We've got plenty of folks on the hotlines. There is no queue on that call. We've got plenty of people who are servicing voters to get that done. Today will be open till 5, 8 to 5, and on Monday from 7:30 to 5. And as I've been mentioning every day, the provisionals are continuing to be verified so that we can identify those that are in fact eligible to be registered, and then their ballot will be counted. With that, I'll open it up for a few questions.
Joe, President Trump posted on Truth Social today that Clark County is, quote, finding ballots and trying to do whatever they can to steal the election for Adam Laxalt. What's your response?
We're taking ballots in that we're required to take in according to the law. There's no way that we could find ballots. They're brought here by the United States Postal Service. As long as it's postmarked, we process those ballots and put them into count.
Will you wait for the post office today? Or you
Oh, absolutely. We don't want anybody to be disenfranchised. We've already made our pickup today. So we went to the main Sunset Station, and we also did due diligence by going ahead and going to our local office down here on MLK. We'll be waiting to talk to our regional contact one more time this afternoon. She should have her staff sweeping all of the stations to make sure that we've identified all of those ballots, and we'll make one more trip. As long as it's in my building by 5 p.m., we'll process those ballots.
The 5,500 provisional ballots.
55-55.
When you start processing those next Wednesday, how long will it take you to finish going through that process?
It takes longer to go through and do the part we're doing now, which is making sure that they're in fact eligible to be registered. Once we have that and we get the Secretary of State's list, what we're doing then is going through to make sure that they haven't voted here and say in Nye County, from Carson to Washoe. Of course, that's not me, but we're making sure that they haven't voted somewhere else. The process of actually getting them into the system is an automated process, so it doesn't take long. We should have those ready by Wednesday evening.
How late are you guys going to be working tonight, and when can we expect that result to be released today?
The cure is going to close at 5, what I mentioned earlier. But as far as the ballots that are being processed today, we won't stop today until we're completely done with what we've got. I'm anticipating that that'll be sometime in the late afternoon, early evening.
And at this point, have you heard from any campaign about any allegations of any wrongdoing by your office, any fraud that they think is going on, besides the former president's comments? Has any campaign reached out to you and said, we've got problems?
No, I don't have anything to report there.
I was hoping that you'd give us a sense of how many election day drop-off ballots have been processed versus how many still need to be processed.
I just mentioned that we have over 22,000 ballots to process today. That includes those ballots.
But do you have a breakdown? How many of those are election day drop-off versus mail-in?
No, ma'am, not really. Once we sorted them in on Wednesday, they went into batches and we start processing them. We started from that day and going to today. It's a combination of them, but they're all getting counted.
Yeah, so it's just a combination of both mail-in and...
Everything that we've got, my vaults are empty. We've got all of the ballots that have been received here by whatever means, drop-off, box, U.S. mail. They're all in the process to be counted. Today is the final day for those ballots. The only thing after today will be the cures that the voters call in and take care of, and the provisional ballots. That's all that's left.
Will you have another question?
Yes, right there. No, not tomorrow. Not tomorrow.
Well, that was one question I was going to ask. I want to follow up on the question about whether you've heard from campaigns. I'm going to ask it a little more pointedly. Have you or anyone from the county received any direct communication from Mr. Trump or the GOP or a Republic or NC or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
And or the Democrat?
Not that I'm aware of. We haven't heard anything from any campaign related to fraud or questioning. Now, we've heard from people saying, when are you going to be done? Explain the process. I saw you in your press conference today. Can you just explain it to me one more time? I've done that many times throughout the course of the day. That's really all that I'm doing. And they're entitled to that information, and I take the call and I answer it as best as I can.
Those of us who are coming here every day and hearing you do that can also notice there's much less traffic around the building, parking, much more parking available. Do you want to tell us that you're still working with full staff and all the machines, or have you been able to cut the staff back a little?
No, we're still working with the full staff. There's another facility that we use as well that the county has obtained for us. That's where our cure hotline is. So there are folks over there that are working as well. The warehouse, they don't have as much work today, but they're not involved in the counting. They're in the phase of doing some audits now, and they brought all that equipment back from the polls. So they've got a little bit of work today, but a lot of those didn't have to come in today. So sure, there's a shrinking number of cars outside. I think we have fewer observers than we had, but that's no indication that we've slowed down. We're still moving forward as quickly as we can. Look, we know that this is a serious count. There are people nationwide who are looking to see these results. We're not taking that lightly. There's nothing that we've stopped here. I've mentioned every single day. We're using every piece of equipment that's available to us, and we're fully staffed on everything that we've got to use for counting. We know that people need to see that count. We're not going to delay it any further. We've got full staff working on it. By the end of the day, I've mentioned, today is the day. We will have the majority of the mail ballots in, minus the cure and minus the provisional. Yes?
Question about ballots needed at each cure. Just in your experience, is there any kind of sense you could give us on maybe percentage of how many people actually put their phone number and emails? Is that a common thing that people do, add information on ballots?
That would be something I'd have to search. I really don't have that percentage in my mind. A lot of people think twice about doing that because, unfortunately, it's not confidential information unless voters choose to make their record confidential. And so that's how third parties get that information, and they end up getting calls that they don't really want to get. So they're hesitant to do that. The email, I would encourage all voters to put the email in. And if you're truly concerned about that information being public, we have the information on our website. You can make your record confidential, at which point your address, your phone number, and your email. Your email's covered under NRS, but the phone number would also become confidential. But I don't have that number off the top of my head.
Can you say the hotline again?
For the cure, that's 702-455-6552. Yes.
Have you ever had any complaints, have you heard any complaints from your staff about being harassed or anything like that when they're leaving this building?
Thank goodness no, and I think that has a lot to do with the work and the support that's been provided. As a matter of fact, as I walked in today, Chief of the Park Police was here, and I took the time to thank him because the fact that their staff is here, they're working overtime that they wouldn't normally have to work. It's an election. But they took our support seriously, and they've been here, and as a result, I've had many staff come up to me. We really appreciate, Mr. Gloria, that you have that going on. I can tell my husband, I can tell my wife, I can tell my kids who told me you should think twice about being down there. There's a lot of crazy things going on in the world, but the fact that we've done everything, and I've been asked, I think, almost every day but today, we did what we did back in 2020 because we learned. That was a learning experience, and we took advantage of what we learned then to put that into place. So LVMPD, North Las Vegas Police, Clark County Park Police, they've done an excellent job of keeping my staff safe. So I don't think, I haven't personally heard of anything. Matter of fact, when I walk down, I'm very proud to say that they say, Mr. Gloria, we with you, we saw you, we think you're doing a great job, we're coming to work, don't you worry, we won't stop coming in.
What's your best guess of when you'll post
I don't know. It's going to come out today. I was hoping you'd be happy to hear it's going to be done today. Sometime this afternoon, early evening, we'll have it out, and I know there's going to be a lot of people that are happy that we finally finished what we need to get done. Sometime between 4 and 6:30, but I hate to put that kind of pressure on staff. They've already been working long hours, and if it doesn't come out at that time, then I'll automatically get phone calls and say, you said this. It's a tough job, folks. Not just me, but these folks. Time away from family, they've been counting for about 19 days. It's a lot of work. Appreciation should be given to the staff and the people, not just here, but election workers everywhere for what they do.
Joe, on the note of your staff safety, do you find the rhetoric, the claims that were made today on Truth Social to be dangerous?
You know, I'd rather not comment on that. I really don't want to poke the bear. I don't want to get into that.
We can have one more. We've talked about the election process. Obviously, the legislature sets the rules. You're doing what state law says. I've really been waiting a couple days to ask you this, but are you prepared to ask the Clark County Commissioners for more resources so this can be sped up? You said yesterday you're doing as much as we can a day. So, you know, in a couple weeks, are you going to ask the county, we really need to get more money into this department to speed things up so this doesn't continue to happen? Or we can work.
I want to make this absolutely clear, and I think I've mentioned it before. The county commission and county management have done everything that they can to give us the tools that we currently have in place. Do we have room for improvement? Absolutely. But everybody needs to remember, we became all male back in 2020 during COVID. They consistently want to compare us to states like Colorado, states that have been doing mail for a really long time. We know those folks. They're colleagues of ours. They've given us a great opportunity to go over there and monitor what they do. There's a limit to what you can have your staff implement. It's not easy. It's complex. The software that goes into it, just the square footage and the time that it takes to implement the observation areas that we've got, the work that went into. We were done maybe 3 days before we started in the primary with these cubicle areas that you see where we're working. So there's been a tremendous amount of work that went into getting us where we are today. Is there room for improvement? There's always room for improvement. We'll meet after this. We're not the only department in the county. There are a lot of needs in the county, and funds are finite. So we'll make sure and make our case clear, and we know that folks are consistently concerned with how long it takes us, but I have to go back again. It has to do with the law, and it has to do with the statutory deadlines, and we have to wait for those. So we couldn't be done any earlier, even if we wanted to. We're right on target. We're reporting today. We had everything done on the last day that we could receive it. Staff has done an excellent job, and I praise them all for doing what they've done. We good?
Folks, we're going to do B-roll again. If you wanted to get some, just
Thank you.
around here.
No press conference tomorrow.
Right.
And none tonight, correct?
Hey, Joe,
No, but there will be a release.
on your notes, the number.
You've been watching breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.